Hi everyone, I'm Claire. Welcome to my channel. It is December 1st, so it is time to go over some empties, and this is actually 2 months worth of empties because I was not able to film my October empties. So this is October and November 2024. So there are a lot to get into. So I am not going to dilly-dally here, and we are going to get right into it. So first, what I am going to do is cover kind of some singles that I got through, and then I'll get into where I have multiples from a brand. So first, what I want to cover as a finish here is one from Yankee Candle, and this is from their Heritage collection, and the name of it is Indian Summer. And I wrote the notes down. So if I'm looking down, I'm referring to my notes on my table here. So the top notes are verbena leaves, shaved ginger, carnation, crushed almond, rosewood. And the bottom notes are fresh balsam, cinnamon, smooth vanilla, and tonka bean. So that is an awful lot of notes. And you can tell there's still wax in here. Because this is a smaller candle, and this is actually one of the first ones I bought when I was getting into candles from Amazon a couple years ago. I don't know, I wasn't in the mood to burn it, so I threw it in one of my candle crocks. And to me, this is mostly just a very spicy candle with a little bit of a vanilla undertone. I don't get a lot of the notes that were listed from it, so I probably wouldn't repurchase it because it kind of just feels like generic fall spicy. But that is Indian Summer from Colonial. Next up is one I just finished yesterday, and this is from Cheerful Giver. This is balsam fir, and this is in the Papa size jar. I think it's like 36 ounces or something crazy like that. So it took me last winter and a good portion of the last couple weeks to get through it. I don't think I would necessarily get this size again just because they take so incredibly long to get through. They're a very hard paraffin wax as well. But you know, this did burn very clean for paraffin. Like, look at that. So the notes on balsam fir were balsam, frankincense, and pine. So while it's got notes that I like in a tree candle, and when we get into the fall and winter, I kind of like to have tree candles going as companions to other candles that I may have going at the time. They're kind of like a constant during this season. I wanted it to be a little stronger, especially for the size, with it being 2 wicks, and it's a little bit larger than your standard size jar opening. So I was hopeful. It's a very pleasant scent. It's not an astringent tree, but it's very mild. At least it was for me. So I don't know if I would necessarily go with this particular tree scent again, but it burned really well, so I have no complaints there, and we got all the way to the bottom. Next, in these singles that I finished a smoked butterscotch latte from Above Love Co. I love this candle. I've already bought a second one. So this, again, if you saw in my previous haul video for this brand, this is like a scent memory for me, so I really enjoy this fragrance. It is creamy sweet butterscotch, cafe mocha, whipped cream, fall hickory wood bonfire. And it doesn't really, to me, it doesn't smell like a bonfire. This to me is like you walked into a donut shop and they're freshly brewing coffee. Like, I love this. And it burned really clean all the way down. What you see in the bottom there are like glitters and things. They put little fun accoutrements on the top of their wax. but I would definitely repurchase this one. I already have. I hope it sticks around. So that is smoked butterscotch latte. Let's see, do I have any more singles left? Nope. So now I'm going to cover some brands that I have just like a couple of. So first here is from Voluspa, and this is Apple Blue Clover. And I did not love this candle. To me, it kind of smelled like wet Elmer's glue when it was burning. The notes on it are, and they are listed on the jar here, Andean blue clover, apple, and oak moss. So I'm not sure what is in here that makes it come off like wet Elmer's glue to me, but I would probably not repurchase this candle. I did get this off Zulily a while ago, and it did end up living its life out in the crock because with a 1-wick candle for this size, it would never pull out for me. I just kept getting frustrated. So it's another one of those things where even though it's a luxury brand and you really want to expect more from the candle, a lot of times, unless it's a boutique, if they start to get bigger, larger, I think they focus sometimes more on the fragrances than the burn quality of their candles. So while you get a nice jar and you get a possibly nice fragrance, you don't always get the best burn. And that is what I'm finding with this type of jar from Voluspa, even though it's gorgeous. And it is empty right now because I dumped the wax out after it was in the crock, but it finished its life in the crock. Another Voluspa that, again, I got from Zulily and kind of just got frustrated with it was Santal. Is it Vanille, something French that I can't pronounce, which is Santal, French Bourbon Vanilla, and Oud. Again, this one finished its life out in the crock because I got a little frustrated with it. This one was surprisingly light for me. Usually when I put a candle in the crock, it kind of amplifies the fragrance, but this was like you could smell it. You had a sense that there was something in the house, but it wasn't like a knock your socks off kind of throw even in the crock. So I actually do have this coming in a 3-wick because Amazon had it on like a super special for Black Friday. So I figured I would try it in the 3-wick tin to see if the experience is a little bit different when it's got a wider surface area and also has more wicks. But that is Santal Vanille. Okay, next I'm going to cover a couple Yankee candles that I finished. Here is Apple Pumpkin. I did burn this one all the way down. These jars to me, because they're so big and they always take so long to burn, you do end up getting a little bit of residue at the top. I think just because the size of jar, I really don't think it's any kind of indication that they're dirty or anything. But the top notes are apple, yellow fruits, orange, fresh greens, and butter. Mid notes of baked pumpkin, red fruit, cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, and fresh ginger. Bottom notes, vanilla, caramelized sugar, baked pie crust, cream, and musk. So as typically goes with Yankee, they have a packed list of scent notes. I mean, apple pumpkin is really just what it says it is. Apple pumpkin. I didn't think it was super strong. It was kind of like just a mid rating. I burned it mostly in the kitchen and it was okay. I don't know if I'm clamoring for it, but I definitely am glad to have tried it and have some notes on it. I don't think it's a must-have, but it might be when it gets to the point where I'm looking to buy some more seasonal candles. It could be something that I think about purchasing again if maybe it comes in their new 3-wick style. So that is apple pumpkin. And next from Yankee, this is one I really love. So this is whipped pumpkin spice. I don't think they had whipped pumpkin spice this year. I did get this one last year, and so I finished it up. And I do have a few backups in my collection because I really did love this one very much. This one is top notes of milk, pumpkin puree, and butterscotch, mid notes of maple syrup and nutmeg, and bottom notes of whipped vanilla and coconut milk. So on cold, this really is just like your basic bee pumpkin spice candle. But when you light it and you're burning it, more of that like creamy kind of milkiness comes out, and it really does become like a whipped pumpkin spice. Like maybe you just like made some whipped cream and put some pumpkin spice in it, or, you know, made yourself a warm milk with some pumpkin spice. There's definitely, to me, a lactonic note in there, though. So if you don't like that in a candle, I might steer clear of it. But I really enjoyed this one, and I do have some backups. And even though I don't think it was in their collection this year, I hope it does come back in the future. All right, time to turn the page on my notes. Okay, next are a couple from a more luxury brand that I got through and finished. So these are both from a company called AEMBR, AEMBR. The first one that I finished is Fraser Fir. This is like the OG fragrance from AEMBR. I think this might have been one of the first candles that they came out with a few years ago when they launched. This one has notes of fir balsam, cypress, evergreen, moss, frankincense, and myrrh. And this is it's like a soft, earthy tree. It's not an astringent tree, and it's not like a smack you in the face tree either, but it does have staying power that if you burn it as a companion candle, you still know that it's there. So it's a really nice tree. If you like a more astringent tree, it might not be for you, but this is like a nice soft tree, if that makes any sense. This is one I do have a backup of it in. They did a limited edition 3-wick a while back, so I have that in my candle drawer. So that is Fraser Fir from AEMBR. Next is, I finished up my all-time Christmas season candle. I started burning it this week because I was like super ready to get in the holiday feels. So this is Yuletide. It's spelled Juletid. It's Norwegian. The notes on this is ginger, cinnamon, citrus peel, cypress, clove, pine, fir, and fireplace. This, to me, is the perfect holiday trifecta in a candle. It's got, you know, spicy citrus, it's got tree, and it's got fireplace. Everything in one candle. I did do a video on it earlier this week covering my all-time ultimate holiday scent. So if you want to know more about this particular candle, or some comparables I found from other brands that kind of cover that scent profile, check out that video. I will have it linked in the description below. All right, now I have a few from Goose Creek. So the first one here that I'm going to cover is from their Willy Wonka collection. I think this was last year. Magical Life of Candy. I burned this around Halloween, and the notes on this one are a little deceiving. So the notes are tangerine, raspberry, peach, and spun sugar. But when you smell this candle, it's got a hint of fruitiness, but it's more like you're smelling a Tootsie Pop. Or you're sticking your head in a bag of Halloween candy where you've got a mix of all the candies. So this one I really enjoyed. I know this was part of their special collection, so I don't know if they will ever have this fragrance again, but definitely I would keep an eye out for a candle with those scent notes, tangerine, raspberry, peach, spun sugar, because I wonder, if they would repackage this, I would definitely get it again. And I don't know, I would call it like trick or treat bag or something like that. Like, Goose Creek, bring this back, please. And next, I burned through a pumpkin pound cake. This I got last year on clearance, I think. This one, I'm not sure I would get this one again. And what I'm finding is I think I have trouble with a lot of the pound cake scents because they are almost a little too buttery, if that makes any sense. They get a little bit overwhelming to me. And then as this one burned down, it kind of started to smell more like a burnt butter, which I did not love. But the notes on this one are dense vanilla pound cake, cinnamon icing, creamy pumpkin, and sugary vanilla. It's definitely a dense pound cake. I didn't get too much pumpkin. I did get a little bit of cinnamon, but I don't think I would get this one again, but it might be one that's up your alley. So that is pumpkin pound cake. And then also from Goose Creek, I finished a whipped cream and cashmere. This is a gorgeous scent. I love the way this one smells. The only problem I had with this one is the wicks, maybe toward around this point in the burn. So there was maybe like a third left. The wicks did start to get a little puny on me, so I did put it in the crock to finish out its life because I wanted that smell. And it was a powerhouse in the crock too. So whipped cream and cashmere. The notes on that is soft cashmere, amber, sandalwood, jasmine, vanilla. I would definitely purchase this fragrance again if I see it again. I really enjoy it. It's such a soft, it's a soft, smooth vanilla. Okay. All right, up next, we are just moving along here. I'm going to cover a few Kringles next. So the first one to cover here is I got through a 2-wick tumbler of apple cider donut. This one was a little interesting. It burned a little more dirty than I'm used to from Kringle. This is one I got last year, and it could have been me. I might have done a few longer burns, especially when it gets down to the bottom. Again, with these taller tumblers, I think sometimes it's something you're just going to run into, because, all candle soot, no matter what anybody tells you, that soot just maybe more of a lighter color than what maybe you saw in paraffin candles, but you're combusting something in your house. So it's going to have some kind of output. Like, remember science class when you had to get under the hoods because you were doing experiments and things were combusting? Like, it's a candle. It's going to combust. The notes on apple cider donut are apple cider, and cinnamon at the top. Mid notes of gourmand, maple, and spice, and bottom notes of sugar crystals. Now this to me was more like apple cider and a donut. It wasn't an apple cider donut. So it was almost like you could pick out the distinct apple cider and donut together. So while I didn't hate it, I didn't like, I'm not clamoring for it. If I want like a hot cider donut, I'm still probably gonna go with HomeWorx hot cider donut. But this was enjoyable, and the apple was something I could get through. It wasn't like uh it wasn't like a weird apple, like, and I don't know how to better describe that. Like, I like either a tart fresh apple, but when it starts to get to be an apple that feels like you left it out on the counter too long, and it's just like room temperature turning brown apple, I don't love those. So this was a nice kind of fresh apple, which I enjoyed. Next are a few of their old 3-wicks that were when they were testing their soy blend, I think. I kind of have surrendered these to only put in the crock at this point because they don't burn well. So I just have been putting these in the crock from the get-go and enjoying the fragrance that way. The first one is Warm and Fuzzy. You know, you've definitely got the wax still in there because it was in the crock. So these have top notes of white cedar and musk, mid notes of fleece, rose, and violet, and base notes of aldehydes and cashmere. This was a nice one to have in my downstairs area, kind of near the laundry room. Like most warm and fuzzy or laundry type scents, I just enjoy them down there the most. And what I am learning about myself, though, is laundry scents aren't my favorite. I think if I'm going to smell laundry, I may as well do laundry because then at least I'm multitasking, feeling like I'm getting something done. So I probably wouldn't repurchase it. But this to me smelled kind of like a dryer sheet. So, and most comparable, at least in my nose, would be like a Costco type dryer sheet. So that is Warm and Fuzzy. Next is another laundry scent. I'm going to turn my page here with notes on it. All right, next up is Warm Cotton. This is another one I put in the crock just from the get-go. And this one is top notes of citrus, green, and jasmine, mid notes of muguet, musk, and powder, and then bottom notes of rose, water flowers, and woods. This to me, if my nose is working right, which who knows if it is or not, this smells like one of the mainstream laundry detergents. I don't think it's Tide, or actually it might be more of a fabric softener, like a Downy type smell. It's definitely a familiar fragrance, but it's not one that I usually use all the time, so I can't pinpoint it. I know it's not Gain, and I know it's not Tide. But yeah, that is Warm Cotton. Then next, when November started, I went ahead and put November in the crock as well. And the notes on November are chilled citrus, mid notes blue lavender, spearmint, and peppermint, base notes white amber and white birch. This to me, I really like this fragrance, and I would consider repurchasing it to try in a candle that I burn. This to me smells the most like crunchy leaves and like you're out for a walk. It really gives you that sensory experience of being like outside with the crunchy leaves. So I really enjoy this one. So I would consider purchasing this one again in a candle to burn. I don't think I've seen this one in their newer 3-wick format. I would really hope that's starting to be the format I enjoy the most from them. So I'm hoping they transition more of their fragrances to that 3-wick format. But I would definitely try this one again, which is November. And then also one more was Clearwater Creek. And the notes on Clearwater Creek are top notes of fresh and ozone, mid notes of citrus and dewy herbals, and bottom notes of musk and wood. So this one to me is, if you have tried the Reserve fragrance of Gimlet, this actually reminds me a lot of Gimlet. So it's not boozy, but it's just got that, there's a pepperiness to this, which to my nose is very enjoyable. If you don't like peppery scents, I wouldn't go for this one. But I did really like this because it reminded me of another candle that I enjoy. So this was one I burned in the, or didn't burn, put it in the crock as well. I'm almost through these old formats, so I'm really happy about that. They were a pretty penny. They were a pretty good price when I got them, but I'm kind of sad because I wasn't able to burn most of them. They didn't perform well for me. I mean, scent-wise they did, but they got really icky really fast. So I just decided the crock was the way to go for those. All right, next I have some from Slatkin Co. HomeWorx. First up is cranberry sauce. And the notes on cranberry sauce are stewed cranberries, Valencia orange peel, spiced red apple, and cane sugar. So this one to me, I wanted it to be stronger. And it was a very not tart cranberry. And I like a tart berry, like a tart cranberry. It was very sweet, sugary, kind of an unexpected vanilla undertone to it for me. And then interestingly, when I got like to the last burn, it kind of took on a little bit of like a kind of like a burnt fragrance, which is odd because I don't usually get that with Slatkin candles. I don't know if I would get this one again because I'm finding other cranberry type scents that I enjoy a little bit more, but I'm definitely glad I tried it because I had heard some good things about it, but I don't know if this one is for me. So that is cranberry sauce. And next, I went through one of the Harvest Leaves candles. And the notes on Harvest Leaves, for anyone that hasn't had this before, is spiced pumpkin, mandarin, cranberry, fir balsam, and applewood. So this one, in this jar or this pour, to me, it kind of had like, again, kind of a more gourmandy feeling than I was expecting. There was like a creaminess. So I don't know if in the expanded fragrance notes, if there's any vanilla or tonka in this, but it really had like a creaminess underneath it to me, which I wasn't really expecting. I was expecting more of like the pumpkin, mandarin, cranberry. And I do have one of the iridescent pumpkins in this fragrance that I got from QVC. I think they had it on special or something, and it matches my decor downstairs pretty perfectly. So I did pick one up. And the fragrance to me in that vessel is a little more what I was expecting. I get more of the tart fruitiness from it. So I'm wondering if it was something with just this particular pour of it that was a little bit different. And the lot number on this one, just for anybody who's wondering, is F as in Frank 230707. So if you have one from this lot, let me know what your experience was. Did it seem like your standard harvest leaves? I know it's been around for a while, but this was my first experience with it. So I'm wondering if it's normally more of like a smooth vanilla underneath it, or if it's more like what I'm experiencing in the other pour that I have in the iridescent pumpkin. So there is Harvest Leaves. Next is Cinnamon Vanilla. And Cinnamon Vanilla has vanilla bean, cinnamon stick, allspice, and clove. Now this one I expected to love just from the scent notes. And actually on cold sniff, I thought I would really enjoy it too, but I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would when it was burning, which was really interesting to me because I love a good cinnamon sugar candle. But what this one kind of makes me think of is if you were eating like dry cinnamon. Do you guys remember that like weird cinnamon challenge that the kids were doing a few years ago where they would try and just put a spoonful of cinnamon in their mouth? Like that's what it makes me think of, like you're just eating like dry cinnamon. I think I wanted there to be a little bit more of a sweetness to it, but this is like a dry cinnamon, or like when you're baking, like you just opened a jar of spices versus it being something that's already kind of mixed up into a dessert. So I had thought about getting one of the big luxe sizes of this, just kind of based on the cold sniff, but I'm glad that I burned this before I did that because I don't think it's something I would want in a large vessel like that. So this might surprisingly be a one and done for me, even though I thought I would love it very much. So that is Cinnamon Vanilla. Next we have Harvest Donut. And the notes on Harvest Donut are fresh pumpkin, donut accord, ginger, and clove. This one I really, really liked. I wasn't sure what to expect because, everyone kind of has the standard of hot cider donut when it comes to donuts. But this one, the first burn was a little light, but then once I started to get more through the candle, this was throwing like a powerhouse, enough that I had it burning up here in the loft with me. And my husband came home from work one day and he's like, "Do I smell donuts?" Like he could smell it downstairs on the other side of the house when he was walking in the door. And I really enjoyed the spice blend with this, and you definitely got the donut. I would repurchase this one again. I really enjoyed it. And that is Harvest Donut. One more here from Slatkin is Palo Santo Pumpkin. And Palo Santo Pumpkin is Palo Santo, pumpkin puree, cinnamon stick, and suede wood. So this one to me was mostly just a light Palo Santo. I didn't get a lot of the pumpkin puree, or I maybe got a little bit of the cinnamon, but it's really just was kind of like a very light smokiness. I expected a lot more from this, I think, than I got. So I don't know if I would particularly get this one again. I'm definitely open to trying more Palo Santo fragrances from HomeWorx. Or maybe it's possible in future years that maybe some of the pours would be more robust. But for this particular one, I wasn't super impressed with it. So it'll go on my maybe list for the future. I'm always glad to try a candle because I'm still learning what I like. So that is Palo Santo Pumpkin. So that's it for my HomeWorx. Now for the brand I got through the most in the past couple months. So I have some Bath and Body Works here. The first one I got through is a Gwen's Note. So this one I kind of did an experiment on. So you can see there's a lot of wax in here, but the wicks are wonky. So what does that mean? It means I put it in the crock. So I just wanted to see how this would do because I love this fragrance so much that I was like, I would really love to just smell this all the time for a while. So I put it in the crock, and no lie, this full candle in my candle crock lasted for an entire month. An entire month. And it was like noticeable. You didn't have to like get right over to the crock so you could smell it. Like this was lovely in the crock. The notes on Gwen's Note, because I know it's not available right now, because it was one of the special edition candles from the spring, is creamy sandalwood, sage, soft lavender. And it really is, it's exactly that. It's a very creamy, pleasant sandalwood, a nice, soft, not too herbal of a sage, and a very soft lavender. It's not astringent at all. Like, I love this candle so much. When it went on clearance for SAS, I'm gonna make a little confession here. I bought like 20 of them. So I have so many of these because they were limited and I loved it so much. And the one that I actually burned like a champ. She burned clean. She burned all the way to the bottom and was strong all the way through. I was like, I really, really need this in my life. Like, this is a comfort candle for me. So I wanted to make sure I had it. I am hoping they bring it back, maybe in a repackage at some point so that the masses can enjoy it. But I think it didn't get very much love and ended up like just really on clearance. So I don't know. Other companies, if you can find one of these and can mimic the scent profile, I would do it because it's gorgeous. That is Gwen's Note. You will be seeing more of that in the future because I think that's just one I'm going to burn a lot since I have so many of them. I did get through Pumpkin Donut Shop. You can see I got a good 2/3 of the way through here. And the notes on Pumpkin Donut Shop are glazed donuts, warm pumpkin spices, sprinkled with powdered sugar. This to me is not a pumpkin donut. It's more like a sour cream glazed donut, which I don't know if I want a sour cream glazed donut in a candle. So I did get through it about 2/3 of the way. Then the wicks were getting a little bit puny on me, and it started getting some wick residue because the PWS was causing the flame to be really close to the wax, and it was just starting to singe it a little. So I did decide to throw it in the crock for a few days. It probably lasted about a week with this much wax left in it. I don't know if I would seek this one out again if they bring it back from the vault, but I'm glad I tried it. So that is Pumpkin Donut Shop. Next, I got through a Welcome Home. And the notes on Welcome Home, this was an online exclusive this year, I think. Cinnamon sugar, warm apple butter, clove buds, and brown sugar. I wasn't sure even what to expect from this candle, but I liked the packaging with the tapestry. This one to me, especially when burning, reminded me of an untoasted croissant. So I'm not sure how the notes that are on this candle translated to that, but it ended up to me more of a savory experience. you know how croissants are mostly savory. They have, you know, obviously a little bit of sweetness from the bakery aspect of just them being a pastry. But it was like an untoasted croissant. So I don't know if I would get this one again. Again, I'm glad I tried it because I'm glad I always try the candles that I do. But that's what it was for me. We did have another instance of PWS at the bottom here. So I did end up putting it in the crock for a few days just to finish out this, you know, last quarter of wax. But that is welcome home. Next here, I finished a sweater weather. And sweater weather, for anyone who doesn't know, fresh sage, juniper berries, aromatic eucalyptus, and fresh woods. This, I really like this more than I thought I would. It really came in handy because when I was burning this was when I was starting to get my cold in October. And really, even though mint isn't listed, I think it's the aromatic eucalyptus, but it was just so nice to have this candle going when I started to not feel very well. And don't get me wrong, it's not like a Vicks candle or anything like that. It's not like Vapor Rub. Don't worry about that. It's a very pleasant candle, and it has all the favorite things that I seem to like sage and juniper, etc. But I would definitely get this again in future iterations. And I did love this packaging. Like all these little windows in the houses were like luminaries. So as it got down to the bottom, they would, you know, light up with the flames. That just was a nice little extra for this candle. So this Welcome to the Neighborhood collection was just really cute that way. So that is sweater weather. I did get through a sweet whiskey as well. So this is Golden Amber, vanilla infused whiskey, and sweet red berries. Oh, I love this scent. And it's probably not a scent for everybody, but it's like a scent memory for me of something we always had in our medicine cabinet when I was a child. I think when I had this on a haul, I explained to everybody that there was a company called Bonnie Bell that had an astringent called 1006. And that product it's kind of, when you lived in Cleveland, everybody kept it in their medicine cabinet and you put it on everything, cuts and scrapes and zits and mosquito bites and whatever might happen to you, you threw some 1006 on it. And this smells like 1006 to me, so I love it. It's just a total scent memory, and I will keep this one in my life. I did buy some extras when they had them on clearance a little while back when I had a coupon to stack. This one did burn all the way down to the bottom. It burned really clean. And it had a little bit of puny wick here and there, but it did recover itself. I think I cotton balled it one time, which to me is acceptable. I will cotton ball up to 3 times. If I cotton ball 3 times and you're not recovered, then that's where I draw the line. So that was sweet whiskey. And then warm apple pie, which is baked Granny Smith apple, melted brown sugar, and flaky homemade crust. This was a surprise for me. I did not think I would like it, but I had just decided to get the whole collection with this tapestry label just because I liked it and it was online exclusive and I was placing an order. I really enjoyed warm apple pie a lot. And it reminded me of like the old school fried apple pies from McDonald's when we were kids. Like now I think they bake them or something. It's just not the same. But for anyone in my age bracket who remembers, you would get the apple pie and it had like that crispy like crust coating on the outside. I don't know why. It reminds me of that, but I really enjoyed this, and it is a tart apple. It's a tart Granny Smith apple. So it wasn't like just like a boring red apple. So I would get warm apple pie again, and I don't usually like apple fragrances, so I was very surprised that I liked this one, but I did. I enjoyed it a lot. And I think I just kicked the camera. Sorry if I did that. Last but definitely not least is Fall Farmhouse. This was another online exclusive, I think, this year. Spiced pumpkin, forest pine branch, and fresh fall air. And I really like this candle. I like it. It's got a really nice creamy spiced pumpkin, but the pine branch in it is really lovely. And then there is just a coolness. I'm not sure how they make that fresh fall air accord, but I really enjoyed this candle. I would definitely get it again if it comes back in future years. I did end up picking up another one because my local store had a return. So they had one just sitting there. I'm like, oop, I'm going to grab it. So I do have another one in my collection. I would definitely recommend this candle. I'm finding that I'm liking the pumpkins that are mixed with the unexpected things like pine or patchouli or other things that kind of mash up with the pumpkin with other things seem to be what my nose really enjoys. So that is Fall Farmhouse. I would definitely recommend that one. And we got through it. That was all 29 of my finishes for the past couple months. So we did it in less than an hour. I was scared. I was like, I need to keep this to less than 60 minutes. So I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend. Did you do any Black Friday shopping? I did a little bit of Black Friday shopping. I'm not going to lie. I'm hoping they all get here pretty soon, and I will share those with you. And then heading into Christmas and the New Year, I think I'm going to try and come up with a good plan to maybe be a little more intentional with the purchases. Now that I've had a couple years to get a good sense of all the brands, what kind of scent profiles I'm seeming to like, and things of that nature. I think for 2025, we're gonna have a little project to get us through burning some of all these in my collection, seeing what they're like, exploring the brands. And then, you know, when we do make a purchase and we do have a haul, it's going to be a special event. And maybe I'll get some feedback from you all about where those purchases are going to come from. Like, what do you want to see? So now that we're heading into December, I hope everybody is, you know, staying warm if you're in the north, enjoying some coolness if you're in the south. I used to live in the south for a while, so I know that it's sometimes a relief when we get to this time of year and it's not so hot. And I hope everyone has a great work week, and I will talk to you soon. Please subscribe if you're enjoying this, and like this video if you want to see more finishes, or, you know, leave some comments below. What kind of things are you looking for from a candle channel? And we will make this little community a bustling place to be together. So thank you very much, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Thanks.